What's up, Benjamin? You're back.
I was there last week, but he didn't want to speak to me.
Man, I don't know. There was some voice that appeared out of nowhere. It sounded so strange. I just wanted to stay away. I was like doing my best version of, the Antichrist.
It was actually very funny when I was listening to the recording. It was my voice was crystal clear. Yours disappeared, so I had to cut it at some point to fake the ending of that episode. If you listen to the podcast, then you would you would notice potentially.
Maybe. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird setting coming in and out. But otherwise, it was an interesting episode last week. We had a bunch of conversation going in the chat. So I hope whoever's joining us for this episode today will do that as well. We've got some interesting news to tell. But Ben, you've been traveling, and I will be traveling next week. So we're back. We're back catching flights. We're all over the place. Where have you been? First, tell me that.
Where have I been? You know where I have been, don't you?
Share with our listeners, Benjamin. Share our appearances everywhere that we do them so often.
No, I wasn't really traveling. I was teaching, and therefore I did not have to travel. Typically, I have to do this. It's in my hometown, but it was hopefully, fingers crossed, the last time that I had to do it virtually. So I was virtually traveling, and that's why I was joining Nate. But this weekend, I'll be traveling.
That's what I was coming to. I was like, okay, one that's done, but where are you going to be this weekend, Benjamin? That is interesting.
London.
I see.
Why
And
would I go
why
to
are you
London?
going to London?
NFL baby, first time seeing an NFL game. Fingers crossed. If they let me to the UK, my passport expires in 4 months. I think I should be good. Uh, but they changed regulation this since this month. I cannot just enter the country on my German ID. I also need my passport. Of course, I have one, but then I realized this week that it expires in 4 months. Let's hope they let me in.
Yeah, maybe. I think they'll find a way, and if they don't, then you can, I don't know, give them some spiel, tell them about this fantastic sports tech show that you run, show it to all the guys at the immigration, and they'll let you in for sure.
I'm sure. I'm sure. And you have like a little Euro trip coming up, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm off to Belgium, which is a pretty cool initiative. Sports Tech Belgium launches or does their kickoff event, which is at the head of the Belgian Football Association, which I look
Mhm.
forward to visiting. It's in this little place called Tubise, which I've never heard of, but that's where the Belgian FA is based. So yeah, I'll be sharing a stage with Roberto Martinez, not at the same time, but he'll be at the event. He'll probably not be there for long. And then I'm off to Spain for some other events. So yeah, back to the event circuit, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, it feels packed. Like October
Yeah,
and November is like when everybody still wants to get out some events because before they hop off on vacation.
yeah, exactly. Lots of good ones. I mean, WFS just happened in Madrid. We did. I mean, we're always partners for them, but we didn't make it there this year. There's obviously the
World
Barcelona
Football
event.
Summit for whoever
Ah,
is not in sports tech.
sorry, yeah, World Football Summit. Then there's the sports conference, Sports Tomorrow Barcelona, which will happen early November. Those are also always good events. So yeah, we're back to events. But for now, we have some news to get through.
Exactly, and I'm gonna kick it off. Tennis, it is.
Yeah.
The WTA is introducing a new health and safety connect app together with KPMG, your former colleagues. I'm not sure if it's anybody you know. And
Probably.
before I get to what this is, it actually is, where does it say so? It is part of the WTA's holistic health and well-being commitment. So why do they do all this? Because they want to make sure that their players, so female players, it's women's tennis, and the staff is healthy and good, and that includes both the physical and the mental side of things. So they get this app, and I've read the article. Not sure if you did. I'm gonna give you a quick overview, and then I have a few questions. So there seems to be an app that every player and staff member gets, and they especially can upload every documentation that is related to the COVID protocol. I mean, this is the most important thing right now. They're going to expand the functionalities later on, but right now it's about probably handing in your vaccination and all that. And because all those tennis players travel to different countries, they can also stay up to date on the regulations of those countries. So let's say a very useful app for tennis players and the staff, just to make sure they cover the basics. But where I have question marks, where it gets a bit more complicated, is that it says it will seamlessly and intelligently aggregate player and tour data, apply AI and machine learning, and ultimately discover new high-value medical and business insights. So they're losing me a little bit. So I wonder what kind of data goes in, what can you get out as a player. So I would assume, I mean, match data, some stats which they have at hand, but how does it translate into especially the business side of things? A few things, they give an example that for me makes sense, which is here. Heat index, air quality conditions, fatigue, illness prevention, recovery, or mental health resources. So let's say information that is available from the place or the location where they're playing, yes, and potentially standard resources. Let's say if I as a player feel tired or have some mental things going on, something like this, but I cannot really grasp what it would look like and what I can exactly do with it as a player. How would you read it?
Man, I read the article twice and I really didn't understand what they were trying to do. I promise you, it just seemed so. Joe tells us that this article is from St. Petersburg, Florida. I live here, played tennis yesterday, actually. Good, man. Thanks,
Good,
Joe.
Joe. Good for you, man.
Yeah, I hope maybe you made more sense of this article. Look, I mean, obviously, first of all, let's say I found two things strange. First of all, the partnership with KPMG to launch an app like this. I don't really understand why KPMG is the best partner for the WTA for something like this. Number two, because it was KPMG, the rest of the article was, for me, a lot of consultant speak. It was so broad, and there was, okay, we'll do this and we'll do that, and then we'll do some health stuff, and we'll do some mental wellness stuff, and we'll use AI and machine learning to do some other analytics.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, okay, let's see what this app actually ends up delivering. Right now, it just seems like super high level, speak for what the actual end product will be. Couldn't be clear on it, but I was more interested actually on the angle of if this app, because there has been a long spoken about merger between the WTA and the ATP, and there was an article I believe last month which talked about them increasing shared resources and stuff. So maybe they will do something like this as well for the ATP. I don't know. It just seemed, it seemed a bit early, a bit not much. Couldn't make out much of it, but interesting news that the WTA.
Yeah, I mean, they said they're going to start with a certain offering, then they're going to expand, but I think it's a bit too much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's health and safety, it's machine learning, AI stuff going on with data insights plus business insights, and it's a bit too much at some point. But let's see.
Yeah, but interesting flag, and interesting to see KPMG taking the lead on something like this. So let's see where that goes. All right.
Yep.
On to the next one, which is actually a nice little story. I quite like this one from Iker Casillas, more SportsTech Accelerator programs,
Yes.
which is what Sportboost is about, launched by Iker Casillas. Actually, I had that link open. 1 second. Where did that Sportboost link go? But yeah, in the meantime, I'll tell you about the program. But basically, it's Iker Casillas was doing a bit of investment in the sports tech space, and he's been an active investor for a while, famously with Edovin, which was a startup that works with measuring heart performance for players. And Casillas famously had an issue there while he was playing with Porto. But since then, he has also made investments in companies like Cognia and Flyfoot, a company that we actually know pretty well. So this is now consolidated into a program. which is this Sportboost, which is building the future of sports. Now, the program is set to be in Spain. This is still unclear on whether it's completely virtual, whether it'll be on site, but they do say that, yeah, they're going to provide some resources for startups, mentoring, funding, network, the typical stuff. It makes some references to a physical space, but I wasn't 100% sure of where that happens. I don't know, like where in Spain that is happening, but some good people part of it. Another good program to talk about. This one backed by Casillas. Good news for the Spanish sports tech ecosystem.
Man, you scroll faster than you talk. That was like a wild fly through.
Yeah, because there wasn't that much to see. I mean, if there was something concrete, I would have stopped. But yeah, otherwise the website looks
interesting people. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
People will figure out. First of all, I mean, what we are good in Europe is setting up programs like this. We have a lot of them.
Yep.
What we might need to improve on, in my opinion, and you can tell me if you share that or not, is the quality of some of those programs.
Yeah.
So I'm just realizing one of the best programs in the world.
Sorry, I missed that. You are on the best program. What?
No, my pen is from one of the best. And I hope it's a good one. I hope they will bring in good people, but I mean, it's Iker Casillas, which I mean is a good start. Has La Liga backing, which is also good. So now I wonder what they make out of it. And
and there's also a business school which is part of it. So
yes.
So they've got a few key stakeholders. These are some of the athletes. Some familiar names: Michel Salgado, Fernando Orientes, Ale Galan. Should be interesting.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So I always like when new ones pop up and see what they do. And we need to speak to them at some point to figure out what they're up to.
Yep. I actually did. You know that I've been trying to get Iker Casillas to do a podcast, but apparently he's not so comfortable with his English, and my Spanish is nowhere as good as it should be. Certainly much worse than maybe some other time.
All right, then on to the next one, or anything left on the topic?
Nope.
Cool. Then we are crossing the pond. We are going NFL. My favorite topic of the week. And when I read this, and when I read that this is happening for the 4th time already, I'm like, the NFL does so much, and sometimes I don't know about all the things that they do with regards to innovation. Before I start, did you know about this initiative and that it's running for the 4th time already?
No, I have to say I did not. I didn't. I think I'd read, we'd come across this as a one-liner on one of the other articles that we covered about the NFL with their initiatives, but I didn't know much about this program. And it was great to see. I mean, I'll let you take the lead and then we can jump in with some nice stats.
Yeah, so it is. It has the matching name, the NFL Big Data Bowl, and it is run in partnership with AWS, the data partner of the league, which makes a lot of sense. So whenever you watch American football, the NFL on TV, then you see AWS's next gen stats. That's what they call them. So they have lots of data to showcase. And this so-called Big Data Bowl, surprise, surprise, is about statistical innovation in football, how the game is played and coached. What happens is it's basically a competition, and as I read it, basically everybody can apply, but it's mostly people, of course, from the analytics world and lots of students actually, which I really like, and they get a certain real-time data set from the NFL. And this time they are focusing on the special teams. I think it says so somewhere here. Special teams in the NFL. And this is, in case you're not familiar with the NFL, this is the punters, the kickers, who are of course responsible for field goals and extra point plays. So it's a certain part of the game, not like the typical part of the game that most of us watch all the time. It's more like those special situations, so to speak. And you get tons of data, and you can come up with interesting insights and things that you can do with that data. And they specify this. And they always go for those two topics. Let me see if I find them in the text. Yes, here. That's the standard two topics that the NFL is always covering. It is making the game more exciting for fans and protecting the players from unnecessary risk. Yeah, the NFL is so cautious with their players. They want to make sure that they're healthy, and I mean, this is why fans come to the stadium. This is producing the revenue, so they run a lot of initiatives and also similar ones like this one with other products that makes sure that the players are good. And then on the other hand, of course, yeah, make it exciting for the fans. And I'm very curious if they showcase what comes out of this event. Yeah, it could be either data that, like I said, helps the players or makes a 1 point play more exciting from a fan perspective. I don't know what's coming out of this. Just one more thing is if you win, you can win $100,000 prize. And what they also said is that since they started this in 2018, more than a dozen participants have been hired by NFL teams or their affiliate vendors. So it's not only for the money, it's also potentially for securing your new job.
That's actually, I read an article that said over 30 people have been hired in the last 3 editions by NFL teams. So maybe this says dozen. There was another one that I said 30. There was actually the video has an interview of the guy who won the first edition.
This was one of the wildest
for the Cleveland Browns. Maybe you can put on mute and it comes a bit later.
Tracking system captures.
Sorry.
Yeah, mute on the
other side. I tried. I didn't find the mute symbol. Okay, go on.
But yeah, the lead data scientist of the Cleveland Browns, he was the winner of the first edition. A couple of things about this that I really like is that they keep the topic very specific every year, and they give like some certain use cases, and they open up that data set to all the participants. They say, hey, NFL is making this data available to you. Let's see what you can come up with. And as you said, this year, the topic is special teams. And that's how they build in either new metrics that they can start zero in on, and also identify how to calculate a metric. Like, it's really interesting how they take a wide data set and then build that into a use case that can translate into information for a player and a coach. And I love this idea, this very open innovation model of encouraging students, encouraging data scientists from other walks of life to come in and get a chance at it with maybe a team in the NFL. The last thing I wanted to add was I remember watching a piece, this is a couple of years ago, on special teams. And my favorite special team position in the NFL is apparently there's a guy who, and it happens only maybe a couple of times a season or even multiple seasons, who has to hike the ball over 30, 40 yards sometimes. So after the snap, to hike the ball through his legs, and that is a special position where one person to be able to throw that with the spin and accuracy over a 30, 40 yards piece, that's a special team. I want that job.
Go for it.
You get paid a lot of money, man. It's the NFL. I mean, the stakes are really high. And the whole season, you basically sit on the bench. But the one time you've been called, you have to produce.
The first Indian in the NFL, probably. Is there any Indian player? Has there been?
Man, must have been. There must have. I'm sure there's been somewhere, somehow.
Let me Google that. Indian
you can look that up while I go into the next story. But all right, so
wait a second.
Indians in the NFL, are we actually okay? Let's Google this now. I mean, I'm gonna try. Did you find anything?
Yeah, I found something. Not sure yet. Yeah.
I mean, would have to be an Indian American. I mean, like, for example, there have been Indians who've been sourced for baseball. There are Indian basketball players. Satnam Singh has been in the NBA juniors. Anything?
Okay, so we take this minute. This is what I found, and he was not born in India, but I love his name already.
Brandon Chiller. Chiller is Punjabi.
Yeah, his father is of Indian descent, so that's all I found, and his mother is Irish and Italian. So that was the first result that I got when I searched for Indian in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you got Indians in baseball, some Indians in basketball, but the NFL, maybe they're waiting for me. All right, let's go on with our next story, which actually we touched a little bit last week. It actually came up a session about the deepening presence of all the big, let's say the FANGs biting into fitness. Amazon has launched their Halo Fitness program, and they've made it bigger. I think that is the idea. And Amazon is launching 2 new services, which will be Halo Fitness, that looks a lot like Apple Fitness, according to TechCrunch, but also comes with Halo Nutrition, which is their meal planner. Now, if you don't know what Amazon Halo is, I've pulled up the latest version of the Halo View. And actually, funnily enough, I didn't know this till I saw it while looking at this article, is that the original Amazon Halo was without a screen. And they've moved to this new version, which is, I mean, it looks exactly like a Fitbit, as you can see here. So I don't know when they made this switch, but that's what the new product looks like. And so it says coming soon, and it comes with a membership, building a healthier lifestyle. So what does this membership actually include? Yeah, here's the official press release from Amazon. Yeah, so for $80 a year, right? So it's, I mean, the Fitbit obviously is still a one-time purchase. Now this is going into the membership plan, similar to what Whoop and other platforms use. Amazon Nutrition, so what are the benefits? So you can extensive catalog of workouts, sleep resources, nutrition programs, mindfulness, blah blah blah. So over 150 programs that this Amazon Health platform or the Halo platform will have. A lot of measurements about your body, including body fat percentage, which I believe Fitbit doesn't have. I'm not sure if they do. And then there's a bunch of data. Obviously, everybody uses computer vision and AI and ML to improve and how to use that data better. Movement health, tone, and it connects to your Alexa device. Of course, it's an Amazon product. So Amazon getting deeper into the health game. Ben, do you like this? Do you like this? It looks too plain. No,
I don't know. I'm less about the look. It's not. I mean, for me, it looks like every other.
Yeah, exactly. When I say plain, I mean it just looks the same as anything that's out there. What? Yeah.
Yeah. So no real differentiator there, but you can also tell it about phones in most cases, right? So what would you make different is the question. But other than that, I mean, not a surprising move, right? The news is full of like all the big tech companies going to fitness and also mental well-being. So seeing the whole thing a bit more holistic. So not a surprise. And every offering will have their target group, will have their clients, their customers, and nothing specific to add here.
Yeah, it just says here on this article, quickly, I'll wrap it up. Halo View adds the OLED display. So this is new for this new version. It's at $4 a month. And then there's a 6-month trial. Of course, there'll be many free ways to check out the product. Amazon is the latest. The one that we're waiting for is, of course, Facebook. And their wristband is yet to come. There's been a lot of talk about it being launched in 2022. Yet to see any sort of design prototypes. At least I haven't seen anything. If anybody who's watching the show has, maybe send us a link and we'll try to feature it. But Facebook is the last one to enter the wristband game, which is long overdue.
Yeah, I mean, they have other issues these days, right? So I'm not sure how much they go into that direction.
Yeah, if they still exist, if they can keep their network up. Yeah.
So Twitter can now do wristband, the hot new thing. And no, what I wanted to add is that what I rather wonder is when and how Amazon's gonna include that subscription into the Prime subscription or something like this. So this is more for me the interesting topic. How do those big giants like cut and design their subscription models?
Yep. Good point. It'll probably definitely be connected to Prime.
All right. Just wondering if you don't have any more questions from the audience, just mentioning that this is what this show is also there for, so that you can express your questions, thoughts, concerns, whatever. And this show, by the way, is run without machine learning and artificial intelligence. Just wanted to mention that. All right, on to the next and the last topic for today.
This is a nice one.
First of all, I mean, this is a very nice building, and the king wouldn't deserve a building less fancy. And this is, as you probably have read already, the new Nike LeBron James Innovation Center. The funny thing is that it is called actually, or that the core of it is this Nike Sports Research Lab. So the building is just called or named after LeBron James, but at the core of the whole thing is the NSRL, the Nike Sports Research Lab, and you can probably already imagine what this is there for. And I like this sentence here, which says, "It is the epicenter of where we work with athletes of all abilities, all backgrounds, all skills, and all sports." So what is this there for? It is for experimenting the hell out of whatever they want to do there. How do they do this? They have 48,000 square feet dedicated to sports research. They have 400 motion capture cameras, 97 force plates, 825 pieces of testing equipment, 4 environmental chambers, and more than 80 new prototyping machines. First of all, what does that mean specifically? Let me quickly find this. Yeah, they have a full-size basketball court, a 200-meter endurance track, a 100-meter straightaway, and an artificial turf training pitch. And with those chambers, they can mimic a variety of conditions. So I imagine certain weather conditions. I don't know if you walk uphill and downhill and whatnot. So they can simulate a lot of different things. And the cool thing is, and I think they say it somewhere down here, but not sure where exactly it says, but at the core, they basically say they can produce prototypes like right away while they're there. So they have a bunch of different machines, tons of different materials. So if you bring in athletes and they say, hey, we bring in athletes, we just let them play and we observe what they do. And they can test different ideas and different approaches that they have right away. They can produce it there. So it's not okay, we get feedback and then, I don't know, 3 weeks later, we get a new prototype. No, they're prototyping it right there. The athlete can compare different versions, and then their promise is to find like really cool, innovative stuff that's coming out of this. What I also like is, and it was already mentioned in the sentence that I was quoting up there, that they really wanna, they try to be very diverse and inclusive. So yeah, they said, I mean, they're gonna test range of different sports, range of different people, genders, backgrounds, all of that, to see that their material and their products work for basically everyone out there. So like a big commitment to innovation, big commitment to research. And why did they pick LeBron James? He's also asked what he thinks about it. He says, having my name on the innovation building feels very fitting, because I'm always trying to figure out ways I can continue to innovate, and found this interesting as well, and continue to break the timeline of what they say is your prime. And this is what LeBron James is always about, trying to stay fit, trying to stay in his prime like Cristiano for as long as he can. So yeah, I would say a very cool approach. Naming is also fitting. What's your opinion?
Yeah, just scroll up, Ben. I want to show one thing. If you go to the image scroll, go to the last image. No. So on that image banner that you have, the one at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last one here.
Just go to the last one. So this is the basketball court, which is supposed to be the world's smartest basketball court. I don't know how many cameras it was there in the article, which Ben just read, but it's supposed to be there. But no, stay on the basketball court, and I'll come to the Winnebago as well. But I love that logo. I hadn't seen the LeBron James logo in that way before, with the king and the LJ.
Me neither.
I thought that was pretty cool. It looks like it had been nicely worked. And also, I mean, it's a nice scroll of images. Now, if you go back, there was one of the Winnebago, which, apparently that's this one where Phil Knight was selling his blue ribbon shoes out of and all that. So they've paid homage to the history of Nike in a nice way as well. Yeah, the place looks really cool. More importantly for me, it's a big signal from a major brand to say, hey, we're super interested in innovation. We're not just interested in it, but dedicating a lot of resources to it. Nike also has, and there are only two Nike innovation centers in the world. One is, well, I mean, it was previously in Portland. I guess this is the new venue, and the other one is in Tel Aviv, which also that we know Nike Innovation Lab, which is there, which is also a signal that they stay in the most innovative, let's say, spaces or cities you could consider in the world. So it's a big statement from them, because since that initiative which is the Tel Aviv one, which has been there for a while, they haven't made a major statement. Nike clearly positioning themselves in a big way to say, hey guys, we want to lead the next wave of what's happening in sports and technology in a big way. And they designed a nice little logo for LeBron James to make that happen. I like that. I like the king.
Would you like to have a logo yourself as well?
A logo for myself? Oh, brand Ron Malhotra.
What is your symbol? What would be your symbol? It's not a chess figure, that I can tell.
It's not a chess figure. Yeah, that's too boring for me. I would need something significantly more exciting, but with a lot of zen. And maybe it's a symbol on my arm right here. I think I would go for something like this. Yeah, just the snake that eats its own tail, the Ouroboros. It's tattooed on me. I'll go with that. It's the creation, the circle of life, all in one.
Holy cow. Okay, I'll speak to our graphic designer. Maybe we can make something happen.
Heavy, Ben. You asked for it. There you
go. By the way, speaking about personal branding, this guy, since I know him, he has the same LinkedIn picture, and ever since he tells me that he's going to change, he needs to change it.
It's true. It's true. I'm the worst at doing things in public.
So maybe we can do a little makeover with a new Ron Malhotra logo. Yes. Maybe a little forehead tattoo or something. I don't know.
No forehead tattoo. But the LinkedIn image has to be updated for sure. I've lost a lot of hair since that picture was taken. I think 10 years ago or some shit.
You're getting compliments for your tattoo here.
I know. I did see that. Thanks, Naman. I appreciate it. I've got a couple, and there's one more to come, but that doesn't have to be discussed on this show. But no, we have to up our marketing, personal branding game a little bit. But as you know, Ben, this is not something that I do very well.
No, I think we're both not very much into this.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's it. That's another episode done. Welcome back to the show, Ben. But I believe next week, most likely, it'll have to be you.
Oh shit! I was about to say that it has to be you, because I
have both to... something. I'll be on stage in Belgium somewhere at that point.
Oh shit! I have this Impulse Network startup selection.
That is excellent. But okay, good. We're discussing this live on air, guys. Whoever's watching, next week's episode will definitely not be at this time.
Joe, Naman, Joe. What about you guys?
Who's available to do
it? I mean, okay, listen. If from all the millions, oh wait a sec. First, we have to answer Joe's comment. I can see a good logo made that shows the next Indian NFL long snapper, like the Jordan logo, but better. Joe is a good one.
I like it. The long snapper. Thanks for the term as well, Joe. I didn't know what the guy was called. Is it a long snapper? Nice one. That's the one.
I want to test something. It's probably going to work, but I want to test something. So from all the millions of people who are listening to this, so it seems like both Ron and myself are not available next week, Thursday at 6. If any of you guys think that you can run the show, it's not that hard. On our level, or even better, like I said, not hard. Let us know. I would be very open to let someone else do it for 1 week. For one episode.
This is no joke, guys. Ben and I just realized that we both are busy next Thursday. But yeah, why not? Joe, Naman, whoever else is listening.
Crowdsourced episode. Maybe it's a bunch of you guys and you tell each other what you've seen in SportsTech. If nobody volunteers and reach out to us, you find us on LinkedIn, then we probably have to move it to another day or to another time, something like this.
Yeah. Thanks, Naman. But at this moment, we need you. We need somebody to come and do the show. But anyway, guys, what Ben said is spot on. Absolutely. Drop us a line. We'd be super open to have you guys have somebody host the show. Sorry,
I want to see Alex Rida on the show. That's,
yeah, actually,
I'm
Alex is
nominating Alex Rida if he's watching, and if not, I'll reach out to him.
All right, nice one.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Have a
Next
good
week you
week.
might not see us, but the show will be here. That's for sure.
The show must go on. Have a good
Show
week,
must
guys.
go on.